Welcome to Santa Clarita Weekly, where we cover all things local in Santa Clarita Valley every Saturday morning at 9 on KQRU 107.9. Join hosts Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty as they uncover the latest news, events, sports highlights, and more, keeping you connected and engaged with what matters most in our hometown.
All right, so welcome back for another edition of Santa Clarita Weekly with Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty. I'm Sage, he's Tim. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. We're also on YouTube, Instagram, and you can find us online at santaclaritastar.com. So the LA County District Attorney has announced charges against 9 individuals suspected of looting and arson in the LA fires. The Chiquita Canyon Landfill is not taking in new trash and is ceasing operations, but the pollution and odors still remain, leaving questions about what is being done to stop it. In sports, the Golden Valley and Canyon High boys basketball teams are tied for first place in the Foothill League. The Hart High girls basketball team is undefeated in the Foothill League and in first place. The Rams beat the Vikings in the first round of the NFL playoffs in a game played in Arizona. The Rams were the home team, but the game was played in Arizona because of the fires in LA. And in the NHL, the Kings won their first game on a 5-game road trip against the Winnipeg Jets, but lost in Edmonton and Calgary. So let's start off talking about the charges brought in the LA fires. I believe they're the first charges brought here in the LA County fires. So in the wake of devastating wildfires as swept through Los Angeles County, a wave of opportunistic crimes has emerged, adding insult to injury for those already suffering. But authorities are cracking down, and they have a stern message for would-be criminals. Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced that charges have been filed against 10 individuals accused of exploiting the chaos to commit burglaries and even arson. 9 people are facing felony charges in connection to residential burglaries in Pacific Palisades and Altadena, where they allegedly stole valuables from homes evacuated due to the wildfires. And in a separate incident, one man has been charged with arson for intentionally starting a fire in Azusa. Let's listen to Hochman talk at the press conference he held announcing the charges.
So, as we've said before, with the firefighters literally putting their lives on the line to save people's lives, their homes and their properties and their businesses, with law enforcement working 24 hours to keep us safe and secure during these tragic times, with over 200,000 Angelenos cooperating with evacuation orders in order to make sure that they get out of harm's way, but allow firefighters and first responders and law enforcement to do their business. There have been certain people that we have given a warning to because we anticipated that this was going to happen. And these are the criminals. These are the people who are seeking to exploit this tragedy for their own benefit. These are people who have engaged in looting, arson. We've also investigated price gouging. We'll be investigating internet scams and the like. Today, we're here to announce that the promise that we made when we started this, that these criminals would be arrested, they would be prosecuted, and they will be maximally punished, is a promise we are keeping. As we announced today, the charges being filed on 10 different individuals, 9 of them for looting in both the Palisades and the Eden fires, and 1 for arson. And arson, by the way, not connected with the origination of the major fires, but an arson that occurred in Azusa. These felony charges are the result of a multi-agency collaboration that has been nothing short of incredibly impressive to be able to bring these charges this quickly. This collaboration includes the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles County Fire Arson Unit, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF, Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, and all our related cities that you'll hear about that have done incredible work under enormously stressful times in order to bring these culprits to justice. I'll go through the various charges that have been filed to date. The first set of charges are against three individuals, Martrell Peoples, Damari Bell, and Travin Coleman. What two of these individuals did is on the night of both January 8th and the early morning hours of January 9th, they went ahead and committed first-degree residential burglary and looting during an emergency and evacuation situation in a house in Mandeville Canyon. They have been charged with first-degree residential burglary. They've been charged with looting. They've been charged with grand theft. They stole over $200,000 as been alleged by the charging documents. And by the way, with respect to the charges I'm going to announce, please know this. The charges themselves are not evidence. Every one that I'm going to describe today is presumed guilty until and unless they are proven their guilt is proven by the government beyond a reasonable doubt.
Presumed innocent.
Sorry?
Presumed innocent.
Excuse me. Presumed innocent. Thank you for the change. Presumed innocent until and unless their guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So back with Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell. They went ahead and committed these crimes. And when they committed these crimes, as you're going to see on this TV screen right here to my left, it was caught on a Ring camera. If you can play that as we're speaking. And the LAPD, through, again, such impressive investigation, worked with various leads and tracked Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell to an apartment in Koreatown. Surveillance was then conducted. When they attempted to leave, they were then apprehended, and a number of these stolen items from that residence was found with Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell. Mr. Peoples is he has committed 2 prior violent or serious felonies. This is his third. As a potential 3-strike person, he is looking at life in prison. And Mr. Bell, as a second strike individual, will be looking at 22 years and 8 months in prison if convicted. Mr. Coleman accompanied Mr. Bell and Mr. Peoples out of that apartment building in Koreatown, went into a second car. And when Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell were stopped, that second car, driven by Mr. Coleman, kept going. It went through a light. It crashed into another vehicle. That innocent person in the other vehicle suffered a concussion. So Mr. Coleman has been charged with 1-count felony hit and run causing great bodily injury. As also a potential 3rd-strike case, he is looking at a maximum sentence of life in prison. The second case that we'll talk about involves Rudy Salazar and Lucia Hilrara Perez. They have been charged with 2 counts of each of first-degree residential burglary in connection with an Altadena looting incident. On the night of, again, January 8th, they went ahead and entered 2 different houses in the Altadena area, stealing property in each of the houses, and they were apprehended by the police. The third, and they are looking at 6 years maximum on each one of the residential burglary counts. The third set of charges is against Roy Sims, Ryan Sims, Naquan Dewey Reddix, and Pierre O'Bannon. They are each charged with 1 count of first-degree residential burglary in connection with their crimes, where they went into a house in Altadena in the early morning hours and stole a variety of different personal property from the owners of that house. If we can show some of that property and the burglary tools that were seized.
No.
Would you not have that? Among the property that you'll see that was stolen in that particular incident was actually the Emmy Award of the resident who lived there. That was, the police worked incredibly quickly in that situation, stopped these individuals, and were able to apprehend them and recover most of the stolen property. The fourth incident is an arson incident in which Jose Gerardo Escobar has been charged.
And LA County Sheriff Luna also spoke at the press conference.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. What you see up here, and you're hearing pieces of it, is probably somebody who is out here looking to burglarize, loot, or commit other crimes here in the county of Los Angeles, or the city of Los Angeles' worst nightmare. And I say that because standing around me, and you'll hear from a lot of people from the get-go, when I was communicating with Chief Jim McDonald, I was getting calls from the district attorney, Nathan Hockman, who says, hey, if there's anybody committing crimes, I want to know. I want the cases as quickly as possible. Getting cases from Martin Estrada, or I'm not getting cases, Martin Estrada saying, hey, give me the cases. Everybody around me is hungry, whether it's the FBI, the ATF, all of our law enforcement partners. And why is that? Because we've seen hour and hour of people in our community suffering, losing their homes, losing their property. And just like everybody else, people are saying, hey, this is the reason I don't want to evacuate. I don't want to be victimized again. This is a strong message from all of us that we are here. And when we catch people, we mean business. We're going to arrest in the field. We're going to investigate, and then we're going to turn it over to our partners. And depending if it's a state case and or a federal case, we got it covered here. So whether we are talking about burglary, looting, we're talking about scams, we're talking about the misuse of drones, whatever it is, we're going to get you. Do not make this worse than it already is. We're in the middle of this. We have a lot of work to do. You've heard me over and over announce arrests that we are making. When we're making arrests, the 34 that I had as of this morning, not all of them are looting and burglary. But please note, and this is a strong message to everybody, because we still have an active curfew that is in effect, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. If you do not have any legitimate business in these areas, stay out, because our deputies are stopping people in a constitutional manner, I may add, and they are asking people questions. On many occasions, we are involved in these conversations. We're coming up with narcotics. We're coming up with individuals who are carrying guns. And guess what? None of them live in this area. So what are they doing there? You got to think, hey, why would I, if I have narcotics and a gun on me, go to an area that has a curfew in it? Well, that's what we're dealing with. We're going to deal with that. We're going to continue to work. And I appreciate the work that all of these folks are doing to make sure that the people in our community do not get re-victimized. Stay out of the curfew area. Do not come here to do anything you shouldn't be doing. You're going to get caught. And as you heard from the DA, and then you'll hear from our federal partners, you're going to get hammered. Thank you. And by the way, on behalf of all of our community and the deputies that I'm talking to who are working their butts off out there away from their family on 12-hour shifts plus, thank you guys for the work that you've done and the work you're going to do, because our police officers and deputies want to know when they stop and arrest somebody that somebody's going to get prosecuted and there's going to be consequences. So thank you.
So the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the LAPD, the LA County Fire Arson Unit, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and the ATF all collaborated closely with the District Attorney's Office on these cases. And I'm going to turn it over to Tim to talk about Chiquita Canyon.
Okay, so there's been some developments at the Chiquita Canyon Landfill, a big development, really. The Chiquita Canyon Landfill, closed is the wrong word. They're going to stop receiving new trash, new garbage into the landfill, and cease operations as far as collecting and receiving trash. But some of the problems are not going away. The Chiquita Canyon Landfill ceased operations at the start of the year, and will not be taking in new trash. While that was welcome news to nearby residents who have been affected by the pollution and odors from the landfill for years, it doesn't mean the problem is fixed. In fact, it might have created some new problems. The landfill operators have said they will continue to work on controlling and reducing the pollution and odors coming from the landfill. It is producing leachate, that is leaking into the land and water sources near the landfill. The landfill is also producing odors and air pollution that have led to illness and created unhealthy conditions for those who live near the landfill. While a reduction in trash and garbage collection won't make the problem bigger, it still doesn't clean the pollution being generated at the landfill from the trash and waste that is already there. But there are two new concerns resulting from the closing of the landfill. Where will all the trash that went to Chiquita Landfill, Chiquita Canyon, go now, and how much will it cost for residents near the landfill for trash collection? The Los Angeles County Supervisor Catherine Barger, whose district includes the landfill and neighboring communities in Castaic and Valverde, introduced a motion at a meeting earlier this month to examine the impacts of the landfill closing. It was unanimously approved, but it will also take time to come up with an answer of where to send all the trash not going to Chiquita Canyon. The landfill reportedly collected 3 million tons of waste and trash in 2020. The concern is how much rates will change for trash collection. Waste management companies will not be able to take trash to Chiquita Canyon anymore. It will have to be taken to other places, and how much that will cost and how much people will pay is unknown. The Santa Clarita City Council is planning to discuss options for trash collection in upcoming meetings, but no decisions have been made yet about where the trash from the city will go. Assemblymember Pilar Chavo, who represents Santa Clarita, said, "The closure of the landfill is a victory, but there is more work to do." Quote, and this is a quote she made in a statement at the end of the year when the landfill decided it was going to be ceasing operations. While the end of incoming trash means that you will no longer smell the odor of new trash being added to the site, there is still much to be done to address the underground 40-acre fire that will likely be burning for many years. Now we must focus on this ongoing disaster to ensure the landfill operator upholds its contractual obligations and follows state laws to ensure long-term stability of the landfill, in addition to addressing the public health and environmental disaster that remains. So still a lot of work to be done.
Thank you, Tim. So you're listening to KQRU 107.9 in Santa Clarita. You can listen to Santa Clarita Weekly on Saturday mornings at 9 and on YouTube, Instagram, not TikTok anymore, but wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, Tim, can you talk about local sports?
All right. So we have some exciting games, some exciting developments going on in the Foothill League for both the girls and boys basketball teams. The Canyon High boys moved into a tie for first place with Golden Valley in the Foothill League standings. Canyon boys won 2 Foothill League games and moved into a tie for first place. Canyon beat Valencia 75-66 and beat Castaic 93-45. In the game against Castaic, Eric Kubel scored a game-high 24 points. Canyon, Isaac Yuhiko scored 23, and Canyon won its 6th game in a row. Canyon improved to 4-1 in the Foothill League and is 16-4 overall. The Canyon boys play Hart in their next Foothill League game. The Golden Valley boys lost to Saugus 55-53. It was their first Foothill League loss of the season. Golden Valley bounced back and beat Valencia 80-62 and matched Canyon's record atop the Foothill League. In the game against Valencia, Golden Valley's Donovan Webb had a triple-double with 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. Wyatt Prince scored 22 points and made 6 3-pointers. Alex Vallejo scored a team-high 27 points for Golden Valley and dropped 6 3-pointers too. Golden Valley is 4-1 in the Foothill League and tied with Canyon. The Golden Valley boys play West Ranch in their next Foothill League game. The Valencia boys lost their first 2 Foothill League games, first to Canyon and then to Golden Valley. Valencia lost for the 5th time in a row after the Golden Valley game. Valencia is 4-2 in the Foothill League and in 3rd place. Valencia boys play Legacy Christian Academy before Hart in their next Foothill League game. The Saugus boys basketball team beat Golden Valley in a nail-biter, but lost to Camarillo to end a 4-game winning streak. This loss to Camarillo 61-47. It was its first loss in 5 games. The Saugus boys are 3-2 in the Foothill League and in 4th place. They play Castaic in their next Foothill League game. West Ranch boys beat Hart 77-73, but lost to Pacifica Christian Orange County 95-70. West Ranch improved to 2-3 and is in 5th place in the Foothill League. West Ranch plays Golden Valley in their next Foothill League game. The Hart boys beat Castaic 70-39 to win their first Foothill League game, but lost to West Ranch. Hart is 1-4 and in 6th place in the Foothill League. The Hart boys play Canyon in their next Foothill League game. And the Castaic boys lost 2 Foothill League games, first to Hart and then to Canyon. Castaic is 0-5 and in the last place in the Foothill League. Castaic boys play Saugus in their next Foothill League game. On the girls' side, the Hart girls basketball team is undefeated in the Foothill League. The Hart girls won 2 Foothill League games and won 4 games in a row. They are undefeated in the Foothill League after beating Castaic 56-17 and West Ranch 61-20. In the game against West Ranch, Hart's Morgan Mack scored a team-high 23 points, and Andrea Aina scored 21. The Hart girls are 5-0 in the Foothill League and in first place. They play Canyon in their next Foothill League game. The Valencia girls won 2 Foothill League games. They beat Canyon 75-49 and Golden Valley 60-18. In the game against Golden Valley, Camila Basarova scored 23 points and had 4 assists for Valencia, and Kara McKell added 22 points. The Valencia girls are 5-1 in the Foothill League and in second place. They play Hart in their next Foothill League game. The Canyon girls beat Castaic 82-26, but lost to Valencia and snapped a 5-game winning streak. In the game against Castaic, Canyon's Darby Dunn had a double-double with 14 points and 14 assists. Jasmine Williams also had a double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds. The Canyon girls are 4-1 and in third place in the Foothill League. They play Hart in their next Foothill League game. The Saugus girls won 2 games, the first over Golden Valley 55-31 and the next over Highland 48-44. The Saugus girls are 2-3 and in fourth place in the Foothill League. They play Castaic in their next Foothill League game. The West Ranch girls lost to Hart and to San Fernando. West Ranch is 1-4 and in fifth place in the Foothill League. They play Golden Valley in their next Foothill League game. The Castaic girls lost 2 Foothill League games against Hart and Canyon. They are tied for fifth place with West Ranch at 1-4 in the Foothill League, and Castaic plays Saugus in their next Foothill League game. And finally, the Golden Valley girls lost 2 Foothill League games to Saugus and Valencia and are 0-5 in the Foothill League. Golden Valley plays West Ranch in their next Foothill League game. And now we're going to move on to the NFL and the Rams in the NFL playoff.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Rams. So a lot of things were going wrong for the Rams in the first round of the playoffs, but once the NFC wildcard game against the Minnesota Vikings started, a lot of things went right. So the Rams beat the Vikings 27-9 in a game played in Arizona, even though it was a home game for the Rams. The week started off with the Rams making plans to move the game to Glendale, Arizona, the home stadium of the Arizona Cardinals because of the fires in LA. It came after the Rams lost the game of the regular season to the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams still ended up winning the NFC West Division and earned a home game in the first round of the NFL playoffs. But the fires in LA forced the Rams to give up their home field advantage and play in Arizona. It didn't matter too much. The Rams took an early lead, were up 3 at halftime, and cruised past the Vikings. Matthew Stafford threw 2 touchdown passes. The defense scored a touchdown. Joshua Carty kicked 2 field goals, and the Vikings were held to a field goal for most of the game. It wasn't a perfect win for the Rams, but given the circumstances, it was a well-deserved win. The Rams are in the second round of the NFL playoffs, but will have a tough test against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Rams and Eagles played once already this season. It was a lopsided Eagles win 37-20 in Week 11. A lot has changed for the Rams since then. The defense is better, the receivers are healthy, and Stafford is more comfortable at being a quarterback. But the Eagles are still as good, if not better, than they were in Week 11 too. So Rams coach Sean McVay talked about playing the Eagles in the next round of the playoffs.
Hey, Sean, what's kind of your first look impressions of the Eagles?
They're real. And obviously we have a familiarity, Gary. I got a little bit of a jump on them this morning. This defense is outstanding. Their offense, we know how tough they are to defend in terms of the different things that they can present in the run game, how good they are offensive line wise. They've got great skill. Obviously, Saquon is, probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. And he, obviously we have a ton of respect for Jalen Hurts. And then I think Goddard, you look at him making a big play, catching a bubble for a touchdown and stiff arming guys the other day. So they're in this position for a reason, Gary. And We're looking forward to the challenge to go swing, though. I'll promise you that.
So, Tim, on that note, so the Rams suffered a significant loss to the Eagles earlier this season. How confident are they in their ability to turn things around in the rematch?
Yeah, this will be an interesting game because even though they've already played once already, and it was very much in the Eagles' favor, these two teams are a lot different than they were, I guess, what it was 6-7 weeks ago. The Rams are better on defense. They don't give up a lot of points anymore. They have two of the best rookie defensive players in the league, and I don't think you can call them rookies anymore. They've earned their in the league now, and they're playing like veterans. So Jared Verse in the game against the Vikings had a sack, stripped the ball, caused a fumble, and then ran it in for a touchdown. He's been possibly the best defensive player on the Rams this year, and he's only a rookie. He's the rookie making all these plays. So on the Rams side, they're a much better defensive team. And on top of that, both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, who missed a lot of the games in the first part of the season because of injuries, they're healthy. They're 100%. And Puka Nacua has played better, almost better than he did before he was injured. So, he's a legitimate threat. He's going to give the Eagles a lot of problems, and he should have a big game. But on the flip side, the Eagles are, I don't say they're better than they were in week 11, but they're definitely, they're just better tested. They've have a higher seed in the playoffs. They have the home field advantage, and they're not worse than they were in week 11. They're still going to be a tough team to beat. But the Rams have been kind of on a roll lately too. They keep getting better. The defense keeps playing better.
All right, so Tim, let's talk about hockey. Let's talk about the NHL. So can you tell us what's been going on with the LA Kings?
Right. So yeah, the Kings are on a road trip right now. I got 4 games in Canada. It's a 5-game road trip. And it's off to kind of a bumpy start. The Kings are on a 5-game road trip with 4 games in Canada, 1 in Seattle. It started on a winning note with an impressive 2-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets, one of the best teams in the league. The Kings followed with losses to the Oilers in Edmonton and to the Flames in Calgary. The Kings lost to the Flames 2-1 and to the Oilers 1-0. The Kings have scored only 3 goals in the 3 games on the road. The offense is suddenly struggling, and Kings coach Jim Hiller talked about how his team was shut out against the Oilers.
Talking with the guys in the room, it felt like a pretty high-level kind of playoff-style hockey game. How did you see it from your point of view on the bench?
Yeah, I thought the game in L.A. was good, like you said, and so was this one. They were 2 really good games, both 1 goal.
Now, the Kings have 2 more games on this road trip. They get one against the Vancouver Canucks, and then they end up in Seattle for a game against the Kraken before heading home for a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Kings are in 3rd place in the Pacific Division after the game against Calgary, and are 24-12 with 5 overtime losses in 36 games.
All right. Thank you, Tim. So that's our show. So tune in next week for more discussions about the news from Santa Clarita. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM at 9 on Saturday mornings. You can also watch us on YouTube and not TikTok anymore, but Instagram. We're on there. So we're not on RedTube, but you can listen to us on SantaClaritaStar.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. So leave us a comment. And be sure to subscribe to Santa Clarita Weekly online. Thank you for listening and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Santa Clarita Weekly. You can watch the show on Santa Clarita Star's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as listen in on the radio at KQRU 107.9. Visit SantaClaritaStar.com for more content and tune in right here to KQRU 107.9. A new voice for Santa Clarita.